You know what's interesting? The first UFO file dump felt almost safe. Old NASA recordings, historical documents, stuff everybody already kind of knew about. But the second release, it feels a little bit different. And whether you think this is aliens, drones, classified tech, or a big old psyop, the second dump is where the story starts getting kinda weird. So on May 22nd, 2026, the Pentagon released the second batch of UAP files. Unlike the first release, the second batch is more focused on modern military encounters. So modern military systems shouldn't be easily fooled. These are multi-million-dollar sensor platforms, thermal imaging, radar, satellite integration, the works. And despite all of that, the government labeled many of these incidents as unresolved. This is the clip that everyone immediately focused on. It's three objects flying in formation over the Persian Gulf. Now here's the thing. A single blurry object, that's pretty easy to dismiss. A drone, glare, balloon, pretty much anything. But a formation kind of changes that conversation, because that implies coordination. The objects reportedly maneuver together over open water near military operating zones, and ocean environments are already a nightmare for tracking systems. You've got heat distortion, humidity layers, interference, reflections, which means skeptics immediately jump to drone swarm. And honestly, that's a pretty reasonable explanation, but it's also a little bit uncomfortable. If these are drones, whose are they? Because now we're talking about unidentified systems maneuvering near military assets in one of the most strategically important waterways on Earth. Another clip reportedly shows four objects moving past vessels near Iran. There is a pattern here, and a lot of people believe that's intentional. Because if you wanted to test, say, surveillance systems or electronic warfare capabilities, a contested maritime zone is exactly where you do it, which creates kind of an interesting possibility. What if a huge percentage of UFO reports are actually governments spying on each other with technology so compartmentalized that even military operators don't fully understand what they're looking at? That explanation honestly fits a lot of these files better than Little Green Men, but not all of them, because then we get to orbs. And this part really grabbed people online. A senior intelligence officer described encountering glowing orange orbs during a mission near a sensitive military site. According to the report, the objects approached the helicopter, came within about 10 feet, then split apart, formed patterns, and appeared to pursue fighter aircraft. Now let's pause for a second. Could this be exaggerated? Absolutely. Could memory distort details during a stressful event? Of course. But this account is very specific. The witness describes color, shape, formation. It's not as simple as, "I saw a weird light." And the phrase that keeps sticking with people, "we were virtually speechless." That's not something someone says when they just kind of see a drone in the distance. That sounds like trained personnel witnessing something they genuinely can't explain. Now, does unexplained equal extraterrestrial? No, not even close. But it does kind of sound like something strange happened. Then there's the Syria clip. This may be the single most visually dramatic video in the entire release. Online, people immediately called it impossible, non-human, Tic Tac 2.0. But infrared footage can lie to you, badly. Compression artifacts, zoom shifts, tracking jumps, it can all create the illusion of impossible acceleration. That's why the clip alone isn't enough. But when you combine it with everything else, the testimony, the reported orb reports, that's when people start wondering if there's a bigger picture hiding underneath all this. One of the strangest parts about the second dump barely got any coverage. There is a 116-page file documenting over 200 sightings of green orbs, discs, and fireballs in New Mexico. And honestly, it may be one of the creepiest details in the release, because the descriptions keep reporting the same things. Now that doesn't prove aliens, but there is a recurring pattern. And these reports come from different observers, different technologies, and slightly different locations. So either people are consistently misinterpreting similar atmospheric or technological phenomena, or there really is some persistent, unexplained phenomenon operating around military infrastructure. So why did the government suddenly decide to just be transparent kind of out of nowhere? Explanation 1, public pressure. Simple as that. Explanation number 2, normalization. Slowly introduce the public to advanced drone warfare, AI systems, and electronic spoofing without directly saying, yeah, modern airspace is getting really weird. Explanation number 3, strategic ambiguity. Release just enough real material to create uncertainty, because uncertainty itself can be useful. And then there's the explanation everyone wants to believe. This is the beginning of disclosure. The truth is probably a little less cinematic, but probably more unsettling. Because if these objects are human technology, then somebody possesses systems capable of operating around military assets with performance characteristics that still confuse trained observers. And if they aren't human, well, that changes everything. Either way, the second UFO file dump accomplished something important. It moved this conversation away from blurry photos and conspiracy forums to the mainstream. And honestly, that's why this release feels a little bit different. Not because it proved aliens, but because for the first time in a long time, the government openly admitted we saw something, and we still don't fully know what it was.